Now, Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande's spokesperson, Veli Mbele, joins us now for a discussion. Expanding on this, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. The Higher Education Ministry confirming that it's planning an urgent meeting with the Trinity International Bible University. What will this meeting try to establish?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So it is important to also understand the context, right, of the intention of the ministry, but in particular, the minister's view that the college or the institution concerned should be met. Is that the attitude of the minister is that the department should not necessarily come across as wielding, you know, a big stick of punishment, and where there is an opportunity to engage individuals or institutions who may have not complied fully or wholly with the regulations, the department must use the opportunity to engage so as to help them to this thing to comply. And that is really the attitude of the minister. But this is also to help or to use the opportunity to educate members of the public, right? To help them to understand how important it is to adhere to the regulations that govern both public and private higher education. And that is really the context, and to also just make sure that the constituency that the institution in question represents, right, also understands the bigger implications, but also the rationale behind the department's decision, so that it is not misunderstood.
But we heard Minister Nzimande speaking about he's deeply disturbed by the persistent being the operative word, disregard for the department's regulations by this institution. Persistency shows that it's been going on for some time. Why have you stalled as a department and not taken more decisive action? Because it's been persistent.
Yes, you are correct that this has been persistent. But you must also then understand something, that one of the difficulties that we have as a department, because like any regulations, right, they require that you have the necessary capacity. So it's not so much that the department stalled or that the department was unwilling. It's also because the nature of the people who run what we refer to as these bogus colleges, right, they themselves are very elusive and deceptive. And in the case of the Trinity International Bible University, for instance, right, our investigation has revealed that, for instance, they don't have a physical address, right? And when we checked our records on our website, that the last record that we had of an address was that they were in the Western Cape. But when we checked the recent incident where they were dishing out these honorary doctorates, what they call a graduation ceremony was held in according to the report, right, on social media, it was held in Zanin, right? So those are some of the difficulties, and this is why we have a partnership with the South African Police Services. In the past, we have been successful in closing down. So what we are currently doing is gathering enough information so as to make sure we act decisively with the support of law enforcement agencies.
Yeah. A number of celebrities and well-known figures like unionist Veli Nzimande, I mean, he's reacted to this, saying that he feels cheated after he learned that this valuable piece of paper he cherished for 6 years was conferred by an unregistered institution. You watched all of this happen. Unsuspecting celebrities were clearly used as a strategy for the bogus university to gain some sort of credibility status with the public.
Yes, you are correct again, because you can clearly see that part of the modus operandi is to use, you know, popular public figures, right, so as to, among others, as you correctly point out, give these bogus institutions legitimacy. And this is why one of the interventions that the minister has asked the department to do through his office is for us to reach out to those celebrities, right, who have been cheated in this way. And under the instruction of the minister, we are currently engaging with the management of Sello Maake KaNcube with a view to get public figures like himself and even Veli Nzimande to partner with the department in exposing these bogus colleges, but also to increase public awareness, because our own observation is that even some of our most, renowned public figures don't have the necessary information, and it is our role as the department to provide that information, because many of them, because they are human beings like me and you, would generally and innocently respond favorably to a group of people who say they are honoring them. So it's not always that you would be suspicious, because it's in the nature of human beings that if somebody were to confer or offer an honor to you, the natural instinct, right, is to be polite and accept that. So we also do not want to create an impression that the public figures who have accepted these honors were necessarily malicious. That is not really our view, and that's why we want to work with them.
Yeah, because I mean, it is quite flattering to be called and told of this, hierarchy. I mean, I know you've spoken quite a bit about how you don't want to come across as a department as wielding a punishment, but you also spoke about a partnership with the law enforcement officials. It's also reported that a former employee at Trinity said she knew that something was a bit off about the institution around 2022 when she found out that it was allegedly selling degrees. Are you aware of this? Have you told law enforcement officials about it? What's your situation there?
We have heard the report, but we have not independently verified the veracity of that report, right? But what I can point to, which is all in the public domain now, if you go to the social media page of this Trinity College, so one of the things that is clear in one of their social media videos about the particular graduation ceremony that they held, right, quote unquote, they make it clear as they preside over the ceremony, even before these honorary doctorates are awarded, that they make it clear that, in very suspicious terms, in the way that they run the ceremony, that they themselves are aware that they are not registered. And they even go as far as to suggest that they are internationally recognized. And because they are a religious institution, they also believe that there's some kind of divine authority that has ordained their qualifications. And that video is available on social media just before the actual conferment of the formal qualifications, which means or seems to suggest, at least at face value, that there is knowledge within the very institution that they know that what they are doing is illegal and it is a criminal act.
So if that is their admission, why tippy-toe around them? Why not make the arrest and have people come and be questioned about it? Because you seem to be tippy-toeing about something that's rather obvious.
I can assure you there's no tippy-toeing, and because we are a formal institution, right, it is important that we make sure that when we take action, right, we act decisively, but we must make sure that the information that we have is credible, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where we have to, explain and apologize because we may have acted in haste or we may have acted on the basis of wrong information. So we also wish to plead with the public to understand that it is important that they give the department also the opportunity to make sure that we correct proper and factual information. Yes, it may come across as delaying, but in terms of process, it guarantees the success of, amongst others, prosecution or even convictions. So that is really where we are in terms of the approach we are taking.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande, spokesperson Veli Mbele, they're joining us for that discussion, clarifying the attitude of the Higher Education Department.